Yes, hello students. Today we are going to discuss the chapter 1 part 2. Difference between accounting and auditing. The foremost function of accounting is to prepare final accounts, and in case there are some errors, we can rectify the errors in accounting and we pass necessary journal entries. And in auditing, we do the examination of work of accountant. We ensure that profit and loss and balance sheet must have been prepared as per rules, and they should depict true and fair view of profit and loss and the state affairs of business. Next, the objective of auditing is to certify the correctness and truthfulness of accounts, whereas the object of accounting is to analyze the accounts with the aim of finding out the result of business activities. Next, accounting begins where the bookkeeping ends, and the auditing begins where the accounting ends. Basis. Accounting is not based on auditing, but auditing is always based upon accounting. Rules and principles. The work of accounting is accomplished with the help of certain traditional rules and principles of accounting. The work of auditing can be altered according to the specific circumstances. Qualification. To become an accountant, there is no predetermined qualification, but for doing the work of auditing, auditor needs to be the chartered accountant. Knowledge. Accountant need not to have knowledge of auditing, but auditor should always have the knowledge of the accountancy principles and practicalities. The accountant is normally a permanent employee of the organization and gets gross monthly salary, but the auditor is an independent and external person and is paid fees for his work, and auditor may be changed from year to year. Origin. Accountancy was originated in the year 1494, whereas auditing in India was established only with the Companies Act 1913. Nature. Accounting is always creative, whereas auditing is critical and analytical. Report. After the work of accounting, accountant need not submit any report, but the important work, the main work of auditor is to submit a report to the person who has appointed him, and in the report he certifies the truthfulness, completeness, correctness of the accounts. Let us now discuss the difference between auditing and investigation. Object of auditing is to establish the completeness, correctness, truthfulness of accounts, whereas in investigation we try to detect the frauds and defalcation, and we do in-depth examination for some specific purpose. Term. Auditing involves examination of books of a business for a year, whereas investigation may involve a number of years. Auditing is always done on behalf of owner, and investigation is usually conducted on behalf of external parties. Necessity. Many institutions like companies are required by Companies Act, that is required by law, to get accounts audited. Investigation is not legally compulsory, it is totally optional. Auditing is limited as it involves only the examination of books and accounts. Investigation has wider scope because apart from books, many things are investigated. Qualification: an auditor needs to be chartered accountant, but investigator may be any person. A qualified accountant may be there or any other person who can investigate. Frequency: audit is done on yearly basis, investigation in specific certain situations, and it may cover number of years. Type of checking: test checking may be used in auditing. In an investigation, the checking has to be complete and in-depth. Report: in an audit, report has to be made according to the Companies Act. In investigation, report is to be made according to the contract made. Criticism, auditing is not critical. In report, only those points are mentioned where the auditor does not agree. In investigation, the work is conducted with the aim of achieving the specific result and it is done from critical point of view. Documents, in auditing, documents, vouchers, correspondence, these things are taken into consideration. In an investigation, apart from documents, many other facts are also examined. Now, there is an important statement that accounting is a necessity while auditing is a luxury. Let us discuss this statement in two parts. First part, accounting as a necessity, and in second part we will discuss auditing as a luxury. Let us discuss the first part, accounting as a necessity. First point is limited memory power. Due to limited memory power of ours, it is not possible for us to remember all the business transactions. So it is very necessary to have some record, and that records are maintained in the books of accounts. Next point is knowledge of actual position of business. Every owner, every investor wants to know the real position of the business. That is what was the profit earned, what is the financial position. Then in order to generate this information, we need to maintain the books of accounts. Proof in court. In case there is some dispute or we need some evidence in court, then these books can be taken, may be produced as evidence in court. Next point, knowledge of debtors and creditors. By maintaining books, we may know the various parties who are debtors to us, who are creditors, and what is the amount due to them and what is the due amount from them. Proof in case of insolvency. In case business is having continued losses, then we need to get ourselves insolvent declared, and for getting insolvency declared, books of accounts is presented in the court. Helpful in assessment of tax. For calculation of various tax liabilities, we need to have accountancy. Comparative study possible. In case we want to compare ourselves with the previous year's performance or ourselves with the other businesses, then we need to have some base, and that base is accounting. Next is convenience in borrowing. We want to borrow from some banks or other parties, then we have to show our financial position to them, and that financial position is shown through balance sheet and profit and loss account. Helpful in sale of business. If we want to sell our business, then valuation of assets and liabilities is to be done, and for this valuation, accounting is required. Without proper accounting, it is very difficult to value assets and liabilities. Safety against fraud. In case we want to know that whether the employees are committing frauds or not, they are defalcation of cash, or there are some possibilities that employees may do some frauds with the organization. So if we have proper accounts, it will be safety of the organization against fraud. Helpful in partnership. In valuation of goodwill, settlement of accounts, admission of new partner, retirement of partner, death of partner, dissolution of firm. In various circumstances, we need some figures, and that figures are obtained from accounts. It is a source of business information. Many business informations are required by manager, lender, investor, owner, partner, shareholder, and these are provided by the accounts. Let us discuss the next part, auditing as a luxury. First of all, small businesses cannot afford the fees of a qualified chartered accountant, and it is an adverse effect on the financial position of business. That is why audit is considered as misuse of money. Second point, misuse of energy. For work of auditing, there is a lot of formalities. Vouchers are to be arranged in chronological order. Many tasks are to be done. So, these tasks involve a lot of wastage of energy, wastage of time. Auditor need various informations and explanations, want preparation of list from the employees, and a lot of time is consumed in the work of auditing. That is why it is considered as wastage of time. Next, decrease in the efficiency of employees, because it is considered the employees of auditor are hindrance in the normal work of employees. So it results in the decrease of efficiency of employees. Irrelevancy of audit, frauds and errors still remains in the organization, so we can consider audit as irrelevant. Based upon the above arguments, we can say that audit is a luxury for small businesses, but audit is a luxury for every business. This statement is wrong. Reason being, nowadays businesses are conducted on large scale, and if the businesses are carried on a large scale, then capital investment is huge, ownership and management is separate, and depend on these factors, the need of auditing is very high. So auditing is now made legally compulsory in case of companies, trust, cooperative societies, and government corporations. Saying auditing is not a necessity is not totally correct. It may be luxury for small businesses, but for large organizations, it is a necessity. Now, scope of audit. Scope of audit can be studied in three categories. Scope of audit can be divided into three categories: private audit, statutory audit, and government audit. Private audit means where the organizations are not legally required to get their books audited, but still they are getting their books audited. For example, sole proprietorship, partnership firms, they are not legally required, but in case such organizations conduct their auditing done from the auditor, then this is private audit. And in private audit, the scope of auditor is dependent on the agreement between the auditor and the client. If the client is unable to specify the scope, then objective is determined by the auditor himself based on his intelligence, farsightedness, and experience. Second, scope of statutory audit. Statutory audit means the audit is to be done because of the laws, like companies, public trust, banks, insurance, audit get their accounts audited because Companies Act makes it compulsory. The scope is also determined by the Companies Act. Next is scope of government audit. Government audit means the audit of the government departments and other corporations being run by the government. Such audits are done by government. In India, President appoints Comptroller and Auditor General, who gets the accounts of various departments and corporations examined by his employees. Now, always an auditor should keep in his mind while doing the audit, be it private audit, statutory audit, or government audit, that what is the objective of his audit, and in case some client has issued some special notices for the audit, then that is to be considered. He is also to look whether the trial balance has tallied, and in case there is some partnership firm, then what are the points that are given in the partnership deed, and in case companies, then the special points given in MOA and AO should be considered. While formalizing the audit plan, the auditor should always look into the arithmetical accuracy. He should examine the books of accounts. He should always examine and verify all assets and liabilities and should give a factual report. Now, let us discuss the basic concepts of auditing. Auditing have 5 basic concepts. First is independence. Independence means that auditor should be completely free from any pressure from the management and should do his work competently and with a free mind. He should do examination without any personal bias and should work in an impartial manner. Second point, evidence. Evidence is the foundation of auditing. While examining, he should look upon the basis of evidence, and the evidences provided should be correct, sufficient, and reliable. Normally, evidences are like vouchers, other documents that are related to accounts. Next point, due audit care. Due audit care in the performance of his work, auditor should always be on alert side. He should exercise due diligence in order to detect frauds and errors. Ethical conduct. Every auditor should adhere the code of conduct. He should not do any professional misconduct. Next, fifth point, fair presentation of accounting propriety, adequate disclosure. In accounting propriety, I mean to say that financial statements must have been prepared according to the universal concepts of accounting and they should depict true and fair view. And adequate disclosure means financial statements and auditors report should provide complete and correct information about the financial situation of the organizations. And to whom this disclosure is to be made? It is to be made to the owners as well as other parties. Thank you.